Today I'm going to be talking about how to create multiple inboxes in your Gmail account so that you can get the illusion of having inbox zero. And as I'll mention later in this video, I don't really know any business owner who's actually ever had inbox zero. Most of the business owners I have worked with have more than a couple thousand, if not 100,000 emails in their inbox because they don't have a system for organizing them. So my purpose here today is to help you create a system for organizing your emails so that it feels more manageable and it feels like something you can handle on a daily basis. And I personally like to use multiple inboxes. It is a setting you can set up. I do not use any automatic filters. That is my personal preference. It's not something that I'm saying I recommend. I highly recommend those filters if they work for you, if they are specific for you, and if that is what you want. As I'll mention later on, they are I get a little thrill, a little dopamine hit every time I see a little inbox, a notification come in. I'm like, oh, cool, I got an email. Like when we were kids and we used to go check the mail and you got a letter from your friend or whatever. So, yes, I like getting emails. It's kind of weird. Sometimes, of course, I've got 100 in there because I took the weekend off and I'm wondering what I'm going to do with them. But for the most part, I prefer to just look through my emails and organize them myself. But I also know that is not necessarily what, it's not feasible for a lot of people, especially if you don't have someone who is dedicated to watching your inbox. And certainly in those cases, I do recommend setting those filters up, and maybe we'll talk about those in another video. But I'm going to share my screen with you and show you my inbox and how to set up multiple inboxes so that you can have an illusion of inbox zero, or at least have nothing in the main inbox and then anything else you need in other places that are easy to find, organized, and so in my inbox, I have priority inboxes set up, and we are going to go in and we're going to learn how to set this up. And this is how I keep my inbox organized. Clearly, this is not organized right now. I moved some stuff out so that we could go through this and talk through this. I don't typically use automatic filters or have anything go automatically, not usually, because I just don't like to do that. I like to see what comes in my inbox. I'm kind of weird and I find it a little exciting to be like, ooh, I got an email. What is that? And if it goes somewhere automatically, I'm not going to usually see it quickly. But so just make sure that you do what's best for you. If you do want to see them and you want to see them in your inbox, don't set up filters, or don't set up filters for everything. And if you don't want to see them, set those filters up. I mean, they are amazing. They're there for a reason. And some people live by them and love them. It's just not for me. And that's what we're all about, right? Is what's best for us. I do recommend that whatever you end up setting up, you keep right here in your keep, and you keep a note of it because it's easy to forget when you're just getting used to it and getting started. Most of what I have learned that I use with other business owners and in my business, I have learned by doing myself. And so just make sure that you are thinking through that as you go. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go talk about the settings. So we're going to click on this little cog up here in the wheel. We're going to click see all settings. Then this is just your general settings. You can set this up to where it works on the stars. I do not recommend that. And the reason is because it is a little chaotic, and the search queries, which I will show you in just a minute, the search queries are not as intuitive or as easy. And I'm actually going to show you how the search queries can be a little cranky, and make sure you write all this stuff in an SOP so that you can remember how to make these changes, because these search queries can be very cranky. Okay, so click on inbox at the top. You have the option to do important first. This will be anything that has those little tags that look like an arrow or a banner. You can do unread first. Some people prefer to see all of their unread and then their read emails. If that is what's going to be enough for you, that's fine. Starred first. If you've starred them or set up a filter to star emails, you'll see those at the top. You can do a priority inbox. That is a little bit different than multiple inboxes. And when you click on that, it'll like show you like, do you want your start here? What do you want here? That sort of thing. I think you get up to 3 sections with that. It's either 2 or 3. And then I prefer multiple inboxes, and this does require a little bit more of a little bit more effort to make sure you set it up correctly, because of the way the search queries are set up. But this has been what works best for me, because I like to have multiple categories, and I do have these labels over here on the side. But usually when they come over here, it's something I do not go back to frequently. This is something like, this is done, out of my way. I'm putting it in a folder in case I need it later. So these are things that, hey, you need to look at these. We're working on these, but we're not actively doing it right now. And again, however you feel you need to create that is totally up to you, but I'm just showing you a way that's possible. So here you can have up to 5. If you want to do 1 or 2, no big deal. You want to do all 5, no big deal. Can't do more than 5 as far as I know at this time. So I have these set up by labels, and actually if you open this, and I'm going to show you how to do this in case you forget. If you open this, it's going to tell you about multiple inboxes. My thing's going to be a little slow today. It's going to tell you about multiple inboxes and how to set them up. You are going to want to pay very close attention to where it says search criteria. I've actually pulled this up in another screen so that we can see it. So here is the other screen, and here are the queries if you want to use the stars and things like that. But there are a number of queries in here. Today, I'm going to focus on the labels, and I'm going to tell you right now that I forgot 100% how to make this right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to figure it out together, because I deleted my settings so I could show you this and I messed it up. What? Because I didn't. Yeah, so sometimes OBMs don't do their SOPs either. I know what the issue is though. I remember now. So just keep in mind that your search queries are very particular. And if it's not just 100% right, it will not work. So if it's not working, first thing I suggest is go check your search query and make sure it's correct. If you are struggling to get the right one, I have found that just Googling search query help or like how to set up this search query is incredibly helpful. So let me show you how to set up Gmail search query for labels advanced. I spelled that wrong. Okay. So the thing is, on mine, I put, and I'll show you in 1 minute, but I put of the label, and I forgot that I have hierarchies of labels. So let me show you here. Like I have hierarchies, and sometimes my labels have labels. So you cannot forget that when doing this, which is what I did when I first made the video and was like, oh man, and then I accidentally, anyway, here we are. So this is why this is like my second time making this video, but anyway, search query, very important to be particular and have it correct. So I'm not actually using the advanced form. I just want to see if it shows you how to do it exactly. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want advanced labels, higher, and I cannot spell hierarchy. We go. So it'll show you right here, like if you have the name of your label, like the parent label, and then you have the child label or whatever. So I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do this. Also, another thing that is important to remember is that when you have queries, they're case sensitive usually. There may be a few that aren't, but typically they're case sensitive. So if you have a capital letter on your label, you need a capital letter on your query. Make sure that's all correct. So if you look over here, oopsie, you cannot see You cannot see my query. So I'm going to show you how to make this. So if you want to set up labels, I have one called Inbox Actions so that I don't have 5 extra labels. Let me show you what mine looks like, and I will show you how to hide this and everything. So this is called Inbox Actions. I have follow up. This is an old one that needs to be deleted. I'm going to do that while we're here because I'll forget. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, this is why it's not working. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and I'm going to show you how to make the other one while we're right here. But so I have this parent label, Inbox Actions, and then I have these child labels underneath. And it looks like the one I'm missing is payment due. So I'm going to show you exactly how to create those. If I am creating the parent label, and again, you do not have to create a parent label if you do not want to. If that's too confusing, that's not a big deal. You do not have to do that. So I'm going to name this Inbox Actions 2. Same thing with the capital letters and the case. If you put an emoji in here, you have to have an emoji in the query. It has to have the right amount of spaces. It has to be exact. So one little trick is to copy and paste whatever you put here. Since I want this to be the parent label, I am not going to click here. So I'm going to click Create. And then it'll create it up here. It'll create it up here. I don't want these up here. This is something that I don't look at regularly because it's on the side of my screen, right? So since it's on the side of my screen, I'll click these 3 little dots, and under it says in label list, I will hide them. You may also choose to only show if unread. Whatever you want to do is fine. I choose to hide them. If you want to choose a different color, no big deal. Excuse me, no big deal. Again, I choose to hide them. I don't even look at the tags. Not for this anyway. I do for this stuff, but not for this. So then I put my Inbox Actions down here. It came here. So this is another example I was making. I'm going to remove that for less confusion. So Inbox Actions 2. So if I want to add a label, I'm not going to write the word label. Label is what activates the search. So when I create a new one, I'm going to type payment due. Payment due. I'm going to go ahead and nest this under my original parent. You would pick Inbox Actions 2 if that's the one you had just created and that's where you wanted to put it. I just want to put this under my regular Inbox Actions. So I start typing it in. It takes me directly there, Inbox Actions. I'm going to click there, create. And if I go down here, right there shows payment due. Now these are in alphabetical order. They are not the order over here. Not a big deal. Okay, so when I go to create my queries, it'll be blank. Label should be lowercase. I'm going to click label. Do not put a space. I've made that mistake multiple times. Then I'm going to put Inbox Actions, backspace, payment due, and actually I have to have a space there. So make sure there's a space there because we have a space over here. So Inbox Actions / payment due. I'm going to go and click. Then over here, I'm just going to cut this so you can see what it would look like. It would be blank. It would be blank. Choose whatever you want this to look like. Okay. This is actually not where this goes, is it, Samantha? Oopsie. I'm going to put this one here. This is what I choose to put on there. And I actually just recently added the emojis because I found that just having the words, I ignored it because it looked very plain and bland. That, I mean, this week I changed this. I'm finding so far that this has been pretty helpful in helping me be like, oh, I need to look at that. Why is it so colorful? That sort of thing. But that is totally up to you. Emojis is not required. You don't even have to write a name at all. So if I take this out, I can show you what the other one is called. Label. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. Inbox Actions Urgent. That way you can see what it will look like. Here it says maximum page size. I just have 9 conversations under each of these inboxes. They are still in the inbox. I can still view them, from the screen, but when I click to open one of the inboxes, which I'm going to show you in just a second, they are not that, like, they're not automatically visible. You don't see. So if you have 20 conversations, it doesn't automatically open 20 conversations. It'll show 9. You can make that as few or as much as you like. I think there is a limit on the max, but you can change that. So as far as where you want your position to be, the right of the inbox is where I have mine. So it's over. I used to actually have it up here above the inbox, but I found that these like to be open when you first open your inbox, and then I was having to close them and come down here and try to figure out what's going on, and it felt very chaotic and clustered, and I didn't like that. You also have the option to put it below your regular inbox. I don't like that either, because then I never look at it and I forget, because this is supposed to remind me to do things. I won't look at it and I'll forget to do things. So I like it to be enable reading pane. It just has where you can look at your conversation so that you can do things a little faster. I do like that, but it gets a little cluttered and I don't like that part. So that is, up to you. Do you want it on the bottom? Do you want it on the right? How do you want that to look? I don't have that option. The importance markers, I don't have this set up. I found that it was marking things important that were important, and I didn't feel like taking the time to make sure the filters were correct. You can totally do that, and it is a great thing, but it's just not something I want. I don't get enough emails for that, really. And most of my emails are spam or promotion. So, I have set it up before in the past when I've had like a very big client for a short-term project. I have set it up, but it's not something I use frequently. Again, that's a personal choice. And another video. And then for filtered mail, you can choose to override the filters or don't override the filters, whatever, however you want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. One thing to remember about this is sometimes, what did I do? See, I done messed that up too. Oh, that's because I didn't give a section name. So that's what it looks like if you don't put a section name. And so it really does depend on what you want and what's going to work for you. Okay, so we're back in the inbox, and I do have one over here. It shows a little down arrow caret thingy. I don't know what it's called. But that shows that there is something in here, which means I already had something with that payment due tag. Already had something with that payment due label. And so if I click on this, I will see the thing down here, but I'm going to show you also how we can add all of our things in just a minute. So that search query did work. This one will work as well, but it looks like I don't have anything labeled that way. So let's just double check that it's set up correctly. Mostly because I like to double check myself. I had one in here earlier. Let's do this one. This one can be labeled as urgent. So when you do this, there's the option to move to or label as. I'm going to show you what happens if you click label as. This is not what you want to do. And I'll show you why. I don't want to click inbox. I want to put urgent. So I'm going to click it and put it as urgent. You make sure you click apply or it will not apply. I have done that in the past. So click apply. And you can see that it does show up over here. So my query worked, but it stayed in my inbox. And the reason is because I did not remove the inbox tag. So when I click into it, I see the inbox tag and the inbox actions tag. So you want to exit out of the inbox tag. In order to avoid having to do that 50 gazillion times, because that can get extremely annoying, you want to make sure that you click move instead of label. So when you click move to, and I'm going to click urgent here, and see it moved over there. It's no longer in my inbox. So that is a very quick way to get it over there. So let's go fix this real quick and make sure everything is set up correctly. So again, we're going to go to see all settings, inbox. Hopefully I still have, oops, that's not the right one. Hopefully I still have that saved. There we go. I did. And then I'm actually just going to go ahead and fix these. And again, make sure that you have label, colon, no space, no space. It is very particular. Inbox actions is my parent label. There is a space there because there's a space in my parent label. If I don't put a space, it will not work. If I make it lowercase, it will not work. And then I'm going to put backslash. I'm actually going to go see what I have down here. Down here, I do not have a space. So there's not going to be any spaces here. Over here, there's spaces, but this is just what's going to show up. Over here in my actual label, there are not spaces. So look at later. Okay. Then I'm going to go on to this one. Inbox space actions backslash question. And I'm going to put in here inbox actions backspace working on. I'm going to make sure that all my other settings are how I want them. I'm going to click save changes. Sometimes it'll automatically take me back. It took me back. Sometimes it'll take me back. If you look, my look at later just grew exponentially because I had a ton of things in there. You can close these. You can close these, or you can have them open. However you want is, it's your inbox, whatever's up to you. And now I'm going to show you how we're going to get this quickly to inbox 0. So I have already deleted most of the things I don't need from my inbox. These things are promotional emails. Sometimes this one has good tips. This is something that I'm doing to try to get more opportunities for like press or writing articles or podcasts. So I do actually want to take a look at that one. But I don't want to do it right now. So I'm going to click look at later. This one is look at later. And I'm going to show you a quick way to do multiples. This one is look at later, look at later. This one is actually for a challenge I'm doing this week. This one is look at later. I think I'm actually done with that one. This one is something, I want to look at this one later. This is something I want to look at this week. This is something I want to look at later. And this is something I want to look at later. So once I go through and look at all of those, I'm going to click on labels. And then I'm just going to type in look at. And there pops up my inbox action. And it's going to add them all to that label. Now, I did this on purpose. If you notice, I clicked label and not move. Okay, and it's just another way to show you what happens if you don't. So you could either click on this and actually that's the wrong one. You can click on this and oh my gosh, I clicked on the wrong one again. So sorry. You can click on this one with the little arrow showing that you're moving it like to a new folder, and then put in inbox, or not inbox, sorry. Look at later right here, inbox actions, look at later, and they all moved. So it was very seamless. You could have also taken one and dragged it down here. And another thing you could have done is you could have opened them individually and exited out, but I don't think any of us really wants to do that. Excuse me. So actually these are things I'm working on this week. So I'm going to take these and instead of labels, remember we're going to click move to, I'm going to click these two working on, and that's going to go there. And then this is one I actually want to keep in my inbox. I know we're talking about inbox 0, but I want to keep this one in my inbox to make sure I didn't forget anything about it. And then when I'm done with it, I will move it over here where it belongs. And actually sometimes, I don't know why I keep saying actually, I never really do that. Sometimes I'll go ahead and add a label. That way, when I am ready to move it, I know where it goes and I just click in here and get rid of the inbox. And then it'll disappear. And I'm going to pause real quick while I look at that and see if that's something I want to keep. And then I'll show you how that works. Okay, this is not something I want to keep. So I'm actually just going to click this little X up here. And then I'll click back and it'll be gone. I have no mail in here. And again, there are filters you can set up to do this automatically. You may want to hire a VA to do this for you, depending on how many emails you get a day. But this is the quickest way to get to inbox 0. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have not met a single business owner who has inbox 0. Sure, I did when I first started out 5 years ago, and I had no business, no prospects, and I wasn't in any coaching, I wasn't in any courses, I wasn't getting emails from experts in the field. Before I was successful in doing anything, sure, I had inbox zero. I don't think I've had inbox zero but like one time since then, and I'm pretty sure that was the year that all my clients took off the whole month of December for holidays. So that's not likely. This is the best way to organize. Well, the best way I've found. This is the best way for me how to organize these. And if you would like help setting this up, my team can definitely help you do that. And we would be more than happy to help you set this up. We have packages under our systems launched offer, and we can talk through exactly what you need depending on how many emails you have and what it would look like in the future once it's cleaned up. All right, if you have any questions, drop me a comment, and thank you for taking the time to watch today.